of everything.
So now that we have these values blocked in, roughed in, if you will, to start to give us a stronger sense of form and dimension, I can start kind of blending a lot of these values together, start smoothing everything out, starting to really nail down these forms more clearly. Once we've done that, then we can start layering on additional little details such as wrinkles and hair and so forth, okay? So we've got a new layer here, which I've added, called Value Refine. I'm still going to use a hard round brush, again, with transfer turned on and pen pressure for the controls for opacity and flow. I'll go ahead and zoom in here. And this is where I'm basically going to be using Alt to bring up that eyedropper and sampling a lot more. And if you're using a tablet that has express keys, you definitely want to take advantage of that, because that just makes hitting that keyboard shortcut a lot easier. You're able to work just much more fluidly. So I highly recommend that, instead of having one arm be strained reaching over to a keyboard. So I'm just kind of focusing on the bag under this right eye right here. Again, I want the bags under his eyes to be a defining quality, a defining attribute of our caricature. And while we kind of polish up a lot of this blocked in information, I'll still be kind of primarily referencing this image right here, just because I like the lighting. Okay, and so it doesn't mean we're matching it exactly, because if we were matching it exactly, we would, if you try to match it exactly, I should say, you could kind of run into the possibility of starting to lose kind of some of that exaggerated quality to these different forms for our caricature. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, you're just kind of referencing it. It's very easy to slip into that mode when you're looking at something to start to match it exactly, and then the next thing you know, you're pushing away from the overall shape and form that you were you initially sketched in. So that's basically what I'm trying to get across, is just be mindful of that. Now I really want to push kind of this droopy kind of slopiness, again, kind of coming back over here, just the slopiness of the hood of that eye. I really want to push that even further. So, you know, I'll even change up a few things as I go, just to get that just the way I want it. Okay, but again, we're just kind of smoothing out this information. And we'll kind of start to get in a little bit of that specular highlight in there as well. And you'll notice that as I sample, none of these values, even though they might appear to be completely white, if you look at my foreground color over here, whenever I sample a lighter area, it's never pure white. And I know that we're not going to be getting into coloring this caricature. I just want us to stay kind of focused on getting these forms down as best as possible. But if you have an area that's completely white, when you go in and try to color over this information while trying to preserve the values, it won't give you the best visual result, because you're going to be using some different blend modes to color this, right? If that's something you do choose to do. One of the primary blend modes you would use would be the color blend mode. And so if something's completely white, it's not going to register as well. So you really want to reserve anything like that for just an absolute, strongest little highlight, like a specular highlight or something like that. Okay. And, while we're still kind of talking loosely about that topic, we've got a course in our library where I talk about just how you can take a grayscale painting and color it without losing all of your values. Okay, so definitely check that out if you haven't already. It's I think a pretty useful one. So just kind of working on getting these little kind of puffy areas just under the eyes, getting the bags of the eyes kind of nailed down. That's kind of my focus right now. Again, his eyes are really a defining element of him. I really want the hood of this eye right here to feel like it droops over it. So I'm pushing the highlight, kind of like what you see right there. Really kind of pushing it to make it feel like it hangs over the eye rather than being flat or even with it. So definitely thinking about that. But again, I'm just kind of referencing the lighting situation that we have over there. As you do this, by the way, zoom out from time to time and make a comparison just by checking and unchecking the visibility of that layer. It's great being able to zoom, really, really close in when you're painting digitally. However, you run the risk of becoming somewhat tunnel visioned. You can get so wrapped up in a small area and you lose sight of the bigger picture, and at times that can give you the visual result that you don't want. So it's good to zoom out and kind of double check everything. But again, I'm just kind of trying to kind of push the overall kind of droopiness of those eye hoods, those eyelids. Okay. And it's kind of dark underneath them, so I'm kind of maintaining kind of a darker shadow right in there. And again, everything's not going to be perfectly smooth, but I just want to blend all these values so that when we start layering on lots of additional details, they're not going to become muddied by all the roughness that we have here. Okay, if that makes sense. So kind of working in, again with this nose is almost a cornerstone of his essence as a caricature. So I'm really trying to get kind of that roundness to the ball of the nose. So I'm really kind of pushing that shadow kind of underneath. Really kind of tightening it up there. Really pushing the ball of that nose. And I'm liking the direction we're going in here. It's starting to come together, feel a lot nicer. So we're going to spend a couple more lessons basically working our way around the entire head here, basically tightening up these values, smoothing out this information. But already we're making a lot of progress. I'm loving how this is starting to slowly take shape, slowly kind of come into form here. So stick around.